There's this scene in episode 4 of Ouran Highschool Host Club where Renge, the host club's new wacky manager, decides to make a film to promote the club. She hires a Hollywood director and film crew to help. She acquires impressive props and equipment. Everything looks like it should go well. Yet, as the film commences, it's clear that something is off. None of the characters are acting like themselves. In fact, Renge has given many of them roles that are contrary to their real-life personalities. Also, the dark tone of the film fails to reflect the goofy, light-hearted antics that often define the host club. In the end, the film is a failure because Renge is unable to understand the people she's supposed to promote. As such, she has to face the fact that her conception of reality is flawed. The presentation of the joke shows us a lot about her character's views of the world and of the other characters. After all, the theatrical music and letterboxing point to a serious production, but the inane transitions and senseless dialogue clash with that and create humor. Renge's silly assumptions about the group are on display. She thought that this is what people want, but it's not. It's what she wants. It's what she finds appealing. Her inability but desire to connect with others is evident. In essence, this film is a reflection of who she is and her vision of an ideal host club. This is a character-driven joke. After all, once this joke is complete, it's easier to understand Renge's point of view. It makes her more interesting and dynamic. It even leads her to a point where she might change as a person. Of course, a lot of shows use jokes like this. It's hardly unique to Ouran Highschool Host Club, even if I feel that show does a particularly good job of using comedy to explore its characters. Another more recent show that uses its comedy for similar purposes is Kaguya-sama Love is War. In particular, it uses its style of presentation to build a comedic tone, to emphasize punchlines, or to just generally make important moments feel more important. All the while, it uses that presentation to explore its characters. In general, Kaguya-sama is frenetic. The animation is often simple, but there's almost always something moving or changing. Backgrounds transform, reflecting the characters' current worries or thought processes. They illustrate how the characters overthink simple exchanges, how these conversations become all-out battles. Sometimes reality bends to make mundane actions intense. Here, things aren't presented as they are, but as the characters perceive them to be. By extension, the anime occasionally verges towards horror. This is the case when streaking lines, static, and red color palettes emphasize how scared Miyuki is of Kaguya condescending to him. Each of these elements makes it clear how much these characters care about things that most people don't think about all that much. They're so prideful that they use their intelligence for the stupidest of things. That's what makes it funny, and that's part of what makes the characters interesting too. On occasion, the animation becomes much more technical. These moments stand out, and that difference is sometimes used to highlight unexpected parts of characters' personalities in a humorous way. For example, intensive dynamic animation makes it clear that Miyuki's volleyball skills are so bad it hurts. On top of that, the contrast between the impressive animation, how the scene is set up before this moment, and Miyuki's own inability is funny. In another case, Kaguya shows an unexpected level of care for helping Yu study. First, this sequence shows how much Yu wants to be lazy. More importantly though, it shows that Kaguya is unrelenting in her attempts to help him. Up until now, she's shown him very little kindness. But here? Well, she goes above and beyond to help him. In these cases, and others like them, impressive animation is used to highlight some of the characters' more different traits. The music achieves a similar effect. Melodramatic melodies and grand orchestration stress some of the characters' strange discoveries. For example, when Kaguya learns what first time means, strings soar upwards, rising to an emotional peak. In general, the regal feel of the music accentuates the school's atmosphere. This stands in stark contrast to the characters' pettiness and odd behavior. All in all, the music is another disparate element that underscores the show's absurd characters. It is yet another aspect of the anime's presentation that makes the characters' thoughts and actions more humorous than they would otherwise be, while also giving us a pretty good idea of how they view themselves, and also of how the outside world perceives them. Then there are the moments where the characters drop their guard. Here, direction is far more restrained, with less movement overall and less changes in backgrounds. Music either disappears or turns to soft, more subdued pieces. In some cases, events the characters imagined become reality, but the reality is far less horrific than they imagined. For example, this happens when Miyuki goes to visit Kaguya at home when she's sick. He opens up to her a little bit, and she opens up to him, even going as far as pulling him into her bed. She says, "How cute," but instead of being some horrible thing, it's quite sweet. Other intimate moments are treated with this style of music and directing. There's this bike scene when Miyuki offers to give Kaguya a ride to school so she won't be late. Then there's the aftermath of the French scene. Here, after finding that Kaguya is upset about something she said in French, Miyuki admits that he doesn't know the language anyway. These moments obviously aren't comedic. Still, they only work so well because of how much they differ from the show's presentation of its jokes. Just as the characters drop their guard, the show seems to as well. As the characters become more intimate and honest, the presentation reflects that. Of course, most enjoyable shows use their presentation to reflect tones or emotions that fits what's shown. Kaguya-sama is just one example of a show that does a good job of that. All in all, its freneticism, moments of technical animation, music, and contrasting tones work together to create a dynamic, comedic experience. Whenever the show becomes more serious, these elements are used just as effectively. In the end, that's one of the reasons I found Kaguya-sama so enjoyable, and one of the reasons it was well worth watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel or to check out some of my other videos that I have shown here. As always, thank you to my patrons who support me and help me to make these videos, and thank you to all of you who continue to watch my videos. It means a lot to me. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.